In 1995, the Subaru Impreza WRX STi, or World Rally Experimental, burst onto the world motorsport scene in the hands of a young Scottish driver by the name of Colin McRae, who took it to victory in the World Rally Championship. It was the beginning of a performance car legacy that would keep churning out rally-inspired road machines that would dominate the raceways and roads of the world for 2 decades. And today, we are going to drive the last version, the ultimate build in the final chapter of this amazing legacy of machines. I give you the Subaru WRX STi 12, codenamed Stormtrooper. Alright, so when you talk of a build, you get various different types of builds. People may put on a carbon fiber bonnet, some wheels, and call it a build. You may build your engine by enhancing the performance with pistons and turbochargers and ECUs. But what this car has undergone is something different. It is an A to Z, a complete comprehensive upgrade, yet keeping its roadworthiness, its acceptability to be driven on the road with air-conditioned comfort, with stereo. Yet every single part, from the outside, from the inside, the engine has been upgraded in this car, and it is producing a mammoth 600 horsepower, yet it is an OEM plus type of build. Now, obviously, I cannot memorize everything this car has been built in and has undergone from A to Z on my own. So what we're going to do is, we're going to get the owner of this car, and he's going to run us through the upgrades and the modifications and what has gone into building this Stormtrooper. Right, so we're here with the owner of this car, Zakir Wahab. Zakir, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing this amazing machine today. And we're just going to talk about the build that has happened. I was telling our viewers earlier that this is an A to Z, a top to bottom. Everything has been done on this car compared to sometimes builds that people do, you know, in certain sections like outside, inside, engine, etc., etc. I mean, those are all fine and good, but this is something different. So going through the exterior, can you just talk us through what has been done on this car?
So starting from the exterior, we've got a whole new front that is from the S209, the limited edition that Subaru made and exported to only the US. Rather than having a JDM model, they had a USDM only special. So we've got that, we've got the canards on the side, we've got a nice lip in front, and then we've got the carbon fiber hood.
I noticed on this carbon fiber hood, there's a huge gap here that is cut out, and obviously that is to cool, because as you know, Sri Lanka is a hot country, and when a car produces more power, it produces more heat. So we've got a lot of cooling that is happening here. It is inspired by the Subarus that ran the World Rally Championship. How is it with the weather and the rain? Do you have any issues by running this vent right here, Zakir?
Yeah, Ishak. So the main factor of a Subaru where you get that big bulging scoop is gone, yes, but this cuts down the underhood temperatures by a lot, because you've got the front mount intercooler in front, and it just helps with all that hot air extraction from.
All right, so we'll look at the engine bay a little later. Right now, I just want to want you to tell us about the aerodynamic upgrades that have been done to this car from the side diffusers and the front.
So obviously we can see the canards, that are in front on the front bumper, and then we've got nice big archers there to accommodate bigger tires, so that helps with the handling and the track. And also, if you see on the fender, you've got heat extraction vents. That is how the original S209 kit came, because if you open the engine bay and you see there are heat extraction vents to allow heat to escape from the fender shroud as well.
All right, so let's just move on to the rear of this car. I assume this is probably one of the few stock pieces on it, the original STi 12 wing. Yes. We've got a diffuser system here. Zakir, was that original or did it?
So the original diffuser system was there, but that was just in aluminium. So I enhanced it with a slightly wider carbon fiber, also for functionality and form as well. And the rear wing, I've contemplated on changing it so many times, but Subaru have done just an amazing job with the wing of this model, with the aerodynamics and the look of it. So I just didn't go with an aftermarket wing.
So we've covered the outside of the car, and as you can see, it is more of function over form. Zakir has focused a lot about heat extraction, and that is important in a country that is as hot as Sri Lanka, to keep the car cool, to have longevity in the parts of the engine and the parts of the suspension as well. All right, so Zakir, I want to look at that massive engine bay, and how much power it's producing, and let's just have a look at it.
Let's go have a look at it. Yes.
All right, Zakir. Building Subarus, a lot of people love it. A lot of people have done it. Looking at your engine bay, I've seen you followed some of the basic principles of a good build. You've got the rotator turbo kit with a big air intake and the front mount intercooler. Apart from that, can you talk us about the fueling, the oiling, and the cooling and the turbocharger and the exhaust system, what you have done?
All right. So, to start with the turbocharger, which is the most glaring thing under the
Yes.
engine bay. So that's a Garrett G30 900 turbocharger with a 0.83 AR. That's a specific, all the technical specs there.
Okay.
So obviously, as you can see, it's a rotated turbo kit. And then we've got a nice intercooler kit done from WR. Sasha from WR did a fantastic job with the front mount intercooler and that. And then we've got on the exhaust manifold side, we've got a Killer B exhaust manifold, who are like one of the best.
So this is their Inconel version of the exhaust manifold, is it? The Killer B one?
That's correct.
So that
yes.
Inconel is basically the best metal to contain heat. So sometimes people use stainless steel, they use like the cast iron, but Inconel is what the World Rally Championship cars, the WRC cars use as in manifolds to contain the most amount of heat, so that it doesn't go into the engine bay and all the heat is sent through the exhaust into the turbo. Just focusing on a little bit of points that I see here, we've got all anodized and AN fitting lines for the oil and the water hoses, which is very important because rubber hoses can perish over time. We've got a nice little water
relocation,
relocation kit here. I can see the TL blow-off valve over there. So let's talk about the engine. Zaki, tell us about this engine, because this is a special engine, and can you just tell us about the spec of it?
Yes, so this is the IAG 750 block, so when you order it from IAG, it comes fully assembled, balanced. It's a closed deck engine with all the goodies inside.
All right, so just to put that in layman's perspective, IAG are one of the biggest companies in the world for building Subaru engines, and they build a block with a closed deck. A closed deck means is around the cylinder ports, you get sometimes in the Subaru engines, you get an open deck for water to flow. But in an IAG closed deck, it is filled completely, and that is because they don't want the cylinder to warp when the piston is moving at high speed. So the engine is much more stable, it can handle more power and more boost. And this block was completely assembled by IAG, and you sent it in, and it was just a plug and play kind of thing. It's never plug and play. It's never plug and play. Just always remember that. It's never plug and play. But he's plugged it and he's able to play with it. All right, Zakir, let's talk about some numbers. What kind of horsepower and torque are we producing?
Right. So as you know, fuel is the biggest limiting factor in our country, in Sri Lanka. So when we had 100 octane, we could make better numbers, but with R95 now, that is varying in quality. So right now we are at a comfortable and safe 600 horsepower.
Okay.
Yeah.
it may be safe, but it's not comfortable. I can tell you that. All right. Zakir, the torque numbers, do we have a figure?
So that I think is around the 5 to 600
Newton 5 to 600 Newton meters of torque. All right. I noticed a little Cusco brake stopper, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thing, because when a car is producing a lot more power like that, you do get a little bit of chassis flex. So the Cusco brake stopper is a clever way of having much better pedal feel when you're stopping. Of course, talking about power, we have to talk about the stopping as well.
We do.
What are the enhancements done to the brake system? Just the brake pads and oil, or have you?
No, so we've got DABA slotted rotors in the front and rear.
Okay.
And then we've got upgraded Project Mu pads. So I had the endless pads, but now I've switched to Project Mu.
Project Mu, right. I can see the suspension is changed here. We've got camber adjustable coilovers. What brand is that?
So these are the best ones that money can get you, the Olins, the road and track DFVs.
The Olin dual flow valve is like the king of the king. So obviously, when I say this is the ultimate build, we've got IAG block, Olin's dampers, so everything that can be done to it has been done. And transmission wise, Zakir, the clutch plates, LSDs,
Yes.
What have you done?
So for the clutch plate, we went through a whole lot of clutch plates, we went from strength to strength in
Okay,
power
from 200, 300, 400, 500, you need a 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then finally, what we've ended up is now Sabri has been tuning the car right from the beginning, and we discussed and he advised me on the clutch to get. So this is a XZE triple plate clutch that has been enhanced by IAG.
Okay.
So I buy the clutch from IAG because they have done a few more adjustments to it to allow more torque to be transferred through the clutch.
So is it difficult to drive in traffic or on a daily basis?
This is my daily drive, so it's very easy.
All right, okay. So we're going to find out how exactly that performs on the road. Zakir, fabulous. I think we've covered everything. I see some switchers inside. We'll talk about that more when I get behind the wheel of this fantastic machine. All right, so we're in Stormtrooper, a 600 horsepower WRX STi, and just sitting in here is kind of like sitting in the cockpit of a fighter jet. I'm just going to run you through all the gauges and the controls that I have. So I've got about 5 gauges in front of me. All right, so let's run through these one by one. So on the left here, I've got an AFR gauge, or an air fuel ratio gauge, which tells me how rich or lean the engine is running at. And next to that, I've got the snow performance water methanol controller. So that basically what it does is injects a mixture of water and methanol into the engine to cool the fuel. So it helps this car run a little extra horsepower and a little extra boost. Above the horizon of the dash, I've got 3 gauges. On my left is the exhaust temperature gauge. So it tells you how hot the exhaust is running. And sometimes if the exhaust gets too hot, it'll control the map, the boost and the performance of the car accordingly. On my right, I have a CAN gauge. So a CAN gauge basically connects directly to an ECU, and it reads all the vital sensors. So I've got coolant temperature, I've got fuel pressure, I've got oil pressure, right? I've got oil temperature. So basically I've got four digitized sensors reading and transmitting onto one gauge. And on the right, extreme right, I have a turbo speed sensor. Now this is something different. You don't see this in normal cars. A turbo speed sensor is something that tells you how fast the compressor wheel of a turbo is spinning, and it is something used in high-end motorsports performance vehicles. So basically, if the turbo is overspinning, then it will control the boost to keep it in its optimum range. I'm here just cruising around the Mirigama Conway Autodrome in sports mode. But now what we're going to do is we're going to put it into sports sharp mode and see what this car can do. So just click right there, and now on the dashboard it says sports sharp. Well, I must say I wasn't quite ready for that kick of boost, and that wasn't even full throttle. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to go flat out in this car immediately. It's going to take a little building up. I've got to work up to it. Yeah, get the oils flowing in the car and in me, and the brakes warmed up as well. You know, when you build a car and you enhance the performance of the engine, doing the brakes and the suspension is so important, because it taxes everything that this car has so much more. You know, in third gear we're taking this fast flowing right hander onto the straight at Conway Autodrome, full throttle, 6,000 RPM. Hit the brakes, and I just get thrown out of my seat through this right hander. This turbo is so big, but really it just pulls so fast. It's absolutely amazing. Whoa. If you don't have good tires, you're going to struggle through these corners, and these tires, these Michelin Cup tires, are just absolutely oh my god, I'm telling you, these seats are not good enough for this car. This car has so much of G-force. It is just absolutely crazy. Wow, the brakes are just stunning. Yeah, now they're biting. Now I've got a little bit of confidence in it. Let's give it a 4th gear pull, and let's see how much is maximum power. 600 RPM. Whoa! I can feel the car just moving on the straight, down into 4th, down into 3rd. Whoa! Flat out. Wow! This is absolutely epic. We've got the temperatures creeping up into the 90s. But this car is still just going. It's safe till about 97, 98, and then we've got the extra fan to kick it in. And yeah, the extra fan is now dropping the temperatures into the 80s. We've got a whole bunch of panels here. We've got a race mode that unlocks the launch control, and then we've got anti-lag. We've got rolling anti-lag that basically you can get the boost up while you're driving. We've got a button that sprays water onto the intercooler. We've got an extra fan for the engine, and we've got a button to lock the ECU, so you can download the data and see how the engine was performing a little bit later. You know, this rolling anti-lag is something that is quite popular in drag cars all over the world, and it is absolutely exciting. So what we're going to do is, first we're going to test the anti-lag. So I just click on that button there, and oh, look at that noise. Wow, it's letting the the thing with anti-lag is you have to be on throttle all the time, you know, because let's put it in a sport sharp mode and it builds a little bit more boost, and oh, it is absolutely violent. Look at that. Oh, it's just popping and banging, and the car just trying to go. Oh, look at that. Absolutely violent. Wow, it's building just crazy amounts of boost. Yeah. Car builds are not an easy thing. Sometimes people talk about horsepower ratings, but building them to be able to actually be used is something else. Said car, 600 horsepower, drives to the track, demolishes said track, and is ready to be driven home in air-conditioned comfort. Stormtrooper signing out from the Conway Autodrome in Mirigama. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe this video, and let me know what type of build and what type of car you like to be seen driven here.